You don't get nervous?
I used to get nervous with this stuff, but I think as more and more practice, you get used to just talking to a camera. So it's like you're just talking to multiple
Oh
people, you
man,
know what
like I
I'm
was good, and then that like 5/4, it started coming up, and I'm just like, I got the
saying? You got the jitters.
I got the butterflies. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a little bit of like the top of. I hate roller coasters, so like I felt like I was like right here, and I'm about to go down.
and then it's a
Anyways,
thrill, you know what I mean?
and
After
then it's a thrill, and then
that.
I'm like, I'll be good for a little while,
Yeah, and then it's over.
and then it's over.
Well, hey,
Anyways,
yeah. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to Shifts and Ladders. You know who it is. It's Ryan. I have a guest. I have a guest. He's a brother from another mother. We have been literally connected for, gosh, about 5 years now. Going on 6, really, isn't it? Um,
yeah.
this gentleman, you'll get to know. He's an incredible human being. His name is Joseph Harrison. He is the owner and founder of Therapisht. Therapy. I always mess it up.
No, it's good.
Therapisht,
Therapist. You nailed it.
which
That's
is
perfect.
there we go. It's an expression of debunking really what therapy looks like these days, particularly when you're struggling, not just in your personal life, but how are you going to go forward? You don't find many places that deal with your past and help you pursue your future. This is the expression of what that's going to look like. So Joe is the founder of that, which I'm really excited for. He's actually I consider him a pastoral counselor for myself. So I got him on. He knows it too. That's why he's laughing. He's also co-founder of Grit, which is a physical expression of interior design, building, those kinds of activities that you would see out on your home or in other places. So, and he also has a brand that's coming soon on YouTube called Sutherland, which gets the other side of Joe, which I'm going to let him talk about when we do get to that point. But he is a creative, literally a polymath, if you will, in his expression. So I'm excited and delighted to have my friend and my brother, Joseph Harrison, on the podcast. What's going on, homie?
Thanks, man. God, dude, that was a lot. I need to I don't know. I want that on a long T-shirt, so anytime me and the missus get into it, I can just like unbutton it and be like, I don't know, this is what everybody's saying. So,
Well, listen, great guy. We got transcripts, so
yeah,
you can
man, no
just
kidding.
we can
Thank
do
you.
that thing.
That was a beautiful intro. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, it's for my brother, man. So
Mm,
listen, we talk a lot. We either talk either every day or every other day about so many things. We've been talking about faith on the podcast, but I want to really just get into like some real life stuff because many of us, even including you and me, are in the middle of a shift right now. And right now I'm finding that some of the shifts that we are going through are identity-based shifts.
mm,
You sent something to me a while ago about individuals who have multiple giftings, and how that expresses and how certain conventional things at one point were good. Now they're not so good for individuals who want to express creatively what that looks like. How do you see, particularly in this age of AI, creativity looking these days? And we could talk about that. And again, no, this is just a very poignant anchor topic that will probably expand to other things. But let's talk about that a little bit.
dude, listen, man, I'm a huge fan. I use AI every day. All right, I use the tools every day, but they're just that. They're tools. Just like let me back up a little bit. When I first started designing, being a designer, I worked at a newspaper, and we used to cut out all the ads. We used to design them by hand, and then we would superimpose them using a wax machine on this piece of paper. I'm aging myself a little bit, but fast forward, when computers came, people were like, "Oh my god, dude! Like, what are we gonna do? This is crazy. Computers are gonna take our jobs." Truth is, it took a lot of them. Yeah, it did. But the ones who figured out how to use the tool were the ones who stuck around. Similar to AI, Now AI is a little bit more complex in my opinion because it can be a job taker. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, like we use uh, at a remodeling agency, we use AI basically as almost a secretary, so we
Mm-hmm.
don't have those types of admin roles anymore. So what it's going to do, in my opinion, is I think it's going to, one of two things are going to happen. You either adapt and grow, or it becomes, a huge detriment to who you are. So just like anything, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to, I don't know, man, just to try to take these tools and yeah, and just use them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's why they're there. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to get to a world where there's going to be so many jobs that our kids won't believe existed now, and on the flip side, our kids will be like, "I do X, Y, Z," and I'm like, "I don't even know what X, Y, Z is because it's we don't even know what it looks like." I mean,
Right.
think of 100 years ago. Like, oh, I work for an electric car company, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks. You're like, what does
Mm-hmm.
that even mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you're programming? For a car company, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
even the word programming didn't exist, not that long ago. So I think we're just in a whole world of, you know, it's the frontier, man. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess maybe I don't have the answer.
No, I think you said something pretty cool though. Like, because I feel like there's this creative piece that, like, sometimes when you bring in new tools, like people, the human part of
Mm-hmm.
stuff gets quote unquote lost. And usually what was at one point helpful
Mm-hmm.
is no longer helpful. So people think like, hey, you're taking my creativity away. But actually
Mm.
we're doing something a little bit differently because we're given, like a new canvas, if you will, to do stuff. So like as a person with your creative expression, and I'm gonna tell you, y'all, he was the one who told me I was creative. I didn't even think I was. So I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I wonder if human creativity is actually going to be a difference maker in everything. I'm curious to see how. Let me say this a better way. Why don't people just lean into their humanity to be creative?
Mm. Mm.
What do you see with that, man? And then we just gonna rap about it.
Well, I think even you stating that question is probably intimidating for people. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I think being created, sometimes we don't realize that we also can create.
ooh,
um like I've been in the creative space for a long time, so for me it's like that's just like a way of being. It is expression, but also it's like, man, I make, this is how I make a living, this is how I,
mm-hmm,
like it's always been creation of some sorts.
mm-hmm,
But then there's a lot of people who aren't in that professionally, so then how would they even assume a role in being a
mm,
creative, if that makes sense?
yeah,
So
yeah,
um
yeah,
I think what I'm kind of circling back is like, I think the more that people start to think about it, the more limited they become. So I
like,
think,
help me with that.
well, so I mean, okay, so you wake up and you're like, I got to go paint a mural. It's like, okay, what the heck does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's a big one, but I mean, on a small scale, people get intimidated by the task of creating unless you
Mm,
are just a creative.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I'm not one to like silo people. I think we all have gifts and we all, have the opportunity to be anything. But I
mm-hmm,
do think that there are some of us who are just naturally wired to be creating. So for us, it's no big deal to talk about it. It's no big deal for us to do it. It's no big deal for us to kind of be in that headspace. But
mm-hmm,
I think you have these folks that just kind of get woven into the creative world, whether that's through marketing or branding or, you know, wifey wants a new kitchen, like whatever that looks
right.
like in your world. You're
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah,
shoot, I got to do this now, and then it just becomes intimidating. So
mm-hmm,
I think what I'm trying to get at is like, the less that we maybe think about creating and the more we are creating, the less intimidating it becomes. So then it becomes easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna run this back. So what you're
No, I
saying
know.
is,
I'm all over the place. Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. So I'm gonna run it back because I think we're onto something. So the more we think about creating instead of actually creating,
Mm-hmm.
we actually won't know what we're. If we're thinking about creating instead of creating, we'd actually be having more things in our lives that we actually want versus thinking about the things that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Did I
Mm-hmm.
say that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did.
Well, it's action based. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like thinking of doing anything isn't going to get you anything. So, oh man,
I do that.
yeah, well, it's like think about
I
it. Like, all
think.
right, well, I want to get healthy. I want to get
Mm-hmm.
physically fit, and then you immediately start deep diving into what it's going to take to get the dream body that you want, and you're like, oh, that's intimidating. Rather than in the moment of saying, I need to get healthy, I need to get fit, you start doing push-ups right then and there. Like that's action towards. So then the
Mm-hmm.
next time you do it, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And that's creativity. That's using AI. That's anything that we want to get better at, or that we see maybe a lack in our lives. If we're able to just immediately jump into it, obviously, like you don't just quit your job and say, I'm going to create an AI tool and all these things. But I'm just saying, like, it takes the action forward for anything to even begin to happen.
Got you. So, all right. So this is actually really
I don't
cool.
even know what your original question was. I think I maybe messed up.
No. I think, look, why don't people invest in creativity that much? And I think we're getting to a point where I'm thinking like we actually spend more time on what the tool looks like than actually doing what we actually say we want to do. We want to do. Like I'm guilty of this, and I've done it over the years. I felt like any kind of technology,
Mm-hmm.
or I had this bag. My podcast audience knows I like bags, right? There's only so many bags you can have. There's so many iPhones that's going to do. What is it going to do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time we're spending more time on the tool itself than actually doing what the tool was designed to do,
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
find,
that's a great point.
and I overthink this, as I just said, I think.
We
I,
talk about that.
I know we talk about it a lot, man. And I get curious to the point of like, because we spend so much time thinking, it keeps what keeps people from actually just putting stuff out there? I have my perspective as to what
Mm-hmm.
keeps people like myself from like really going forward and like putting out what I feel should be out there, because thinking is safe, because it's in
Oh,
my
that's good.
mind. It doesn't need opinions. It's just I can anything in my mind I can make. It's a whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what really keeps us, and we could just I know what keeps me, but why do you think it keeps so many people, folks who are in, they're creative in some way, shape, or form? Why don't they just put it out there?
I mean, think of it this way. Think of it as, do I need to?
Mm,
Meaning, a lot of people, like
mm,
guys like you feel this innate calling to, man, people got to know about this. People got to experience what I've experienced. They got to be on to what I'm on. I think there's a lot of people who honestly just don't even have a need. They don't have that
mm,
desire to be on the creative side of creating. Maybe they just want to absorb. Maybe they just want to be, you know, scrollers, or maybe they just want to be film watchers, but they don't want to be film creators. I think there is something in certain people that is just like, I got to get it out. But I
mm,
think then what happens is, I mean, I was raised, a lot of people were raised, like, not many people are raised to say, you should pursue something in the creative arts. You know what I mean? Like, you should pursue, you should pursue music. You should pursue, like, it's not often that anyone is encouraged
mhm,
to be anything, even in the creator economy. You hear your kids say, I want to be a YouTuber. And you're like, no, dude, you're not going to be a YouTuber because you're not going to make any money.
mhm,
Flip side, yeah, you could make a bleep load of money. You know what I mean? Like you can really do all these things, but I think what I'm getting at is I think okay, I keep saying think. Go back to high school
Okay.
and think of your sports programming versus your arts programming.
Sports
I'm
programming versus arts programming. Okay.
I'm assuming that your sports programming had ample amounts of funding, it had ample amounts of opportunity, and it had majority of the spotlight.
Facts.
So flip that script to I'm a kid who likes to draw. Where am I going to fit in? You know, I mean, I can take these couple art classes that are offered as electives, but like most schools, unless you're in some type of a STEM school or some type of an academy, like it's not even valuable to the system. So it's just a subconscious thing that's constantly put into our heads of like starving artist, you can't make money doing that. Like the chances are low. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's very I mean, same thing with sports, but I mean, most of the time you at least get a maybe a scholarship or maybe whatever, you know, but I don't know where I was going with that. I think I'm just saying that like it's been innately ground into our brains that being creative does not equal a path of at least financial gain. But then on the flip side, we're in a world where there's so much criticism out there that it's terrifying. Even being on this podcast with you right now is really scary to me because it's like, oh man, like one person gets this and I said one thing the wrong way. And next thing you know, it's like I'm cringy or like this guy's a fool or like, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, it's like, I don't want to show my face on the internet again, you know?
Right.
Like,
Well, don't do that.
no. But I'm just saying, like,
But I see what you're saying.
that's the risk. That's the risk that I think people take or that are afraid to take is like, what would people think? Think of it this way, man. Like, let's use what you're doing, content creation, as an example. Imagine if it was in real life, someone never met you before and was sitting in an auditorium, and you walked out and you just talked to 450 people about whatever you just said, and you were waiting for an applause or a reaction or anything. And you're doing that day after day after day after day digitally, waiting for a like, waiting for a thumbs up, waiting for a view. You know what I mean? Like, so you know, like it can be debilitating if, let's say, you have a video that has like 2,500 views and 2 likes. That's like walking out onto a stage in front of 2,500 people. You say what you say, and 2 people are like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're like, dang, dude, okay, like maybe I shouldn't do this. So it's like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just vulnerable. That's what I'm getting at. It's all very vulnerable for creative people to express, to put their art out, to put their thoughts out, you know, because I mean, creativity isn't just a physical thing, you know, like there's people, I know a lot of people who have just creative thoughts, you know, creative expression. So, yeah.
Well, I would say, man, like it does open you up to a lot of things, but you know, it's so funny because I look at like, you know, we'll use, I was gonna say Robert Downey, but like so many other, he's like high ticket guy now, but like, you know, there's so many. I'm like that was a
That's like
wrong
a big
guy.
boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a big guy.
that's a heavyweight. Yeah. But like, there's so many other artists that are out there that, you know, are communicating, singing, writing, producing, directing. And I would even gather, speaking as well. It causes so many people to wonder, like, how does that actually equate to a life that I see, in corporate America or in a business or whatever the case is. And I recognize that that's not everybody's path, but I do recognize though that like most people avoid this creative expression because one, finances might be at risk, right? Because you don't know who's going to like it. It's subject to someone's opinion. And I mean, you touched on it, but I really feel like for us, it creates a level of I don't say vulnerability, but like, yeah, like it's actually up to someone else how they interpret what they heard. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Keep going with that. No, that's good. Keep going.
I'm thinking about like albums. So my friends and I, we talk about Usher
Mm-hmm.
and Looking for Myself. It was the album that had Climax on it. It was like the EDM, like
Mm-hmm.
it had that kind of it had that little kind of bounce to it. And what I found was like that was actually if you're looking at some historical pieces, and obviously Usher's made a big resurgence in the last couple of years, but one of the things that he said about that album was that it was one of his most favorite and dearest albums to him
Mm.
because it actually gave him a chance to try a different sound and evolve with it in different ways.
Mm.
It was still R&B, but it was a little electrified. It had a little bit up tempo, 120 beats per minute, that kind of thing. But no one really thoroughly enjoyed it. It actually got better rankings than Confessions did.
Mm.
It was rated
Mm.
better
Mm.
lyrically, production wise, so on and so forth. But it's subjective. So when you're dealing with artistry, you have to really be secure about what you're putting into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, some
You know
people
what
like,
that,
go ahead.
bro, you got to do it for you.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
what it comes down to. Because the reality is, you might be an artist that peaks at a certain level, and that might be
Mm-hmm,
because of just trends. That might be because of a TikTok. That might be because of whatever it is. But the
mm-hmm,
reality is, you have to do it for you,
mm-hmm,
and you have to do it for your own expression, or else like you'll just die to it. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm,
you'll get
mm-hmm,
so discouraged if you're just looking for the validation of others to carry you along. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It does.
Um,
It does. I would even consider like it's a God thing in us. Like you
yeah, for
can't
sure.
not help if
Mm-hmm.
and I will tell you this, if Joe has, so the logo for this podcast, actually every logo that has been made, Joseph C. Harrison has implemented, created for me. And I'm going to tell you this, what makes it so crazy is that he has this ability. I feel like it's a God given ability to see the theme and like create something like one
Mm.
time, right? And you're like, oh crap, that is exactly what I needed and what I was trying to express. Or I may not have known I needed that till Joseph
Mm-hmm.
actually created it. I call him Joe though, but like Broseph, my Broseph.
Brody,
Uh,
Brody.
and I feel like there's certain things in us that just have to come out. Like we
Yeah.
cannot help but
Mm-hmm.
not do or not create. Even in business, you're creating something. You're
Mm-hmm.
creating a process. You're creating some legal documentation. Who said that that's not creativity? So
Mm.
I feel like we've almost put it to a point where like it has to be colorful. It has to be artistry that you see in on murals or on bridges or whatever or music in my headphones, and not sit there and say like creativity is not just limited to
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if people really had that expression idea that creativity was not limited to a physical, tangible expression of things, I figure that there'd be more people creating, speaking, teaching
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily, it may not be creating a book, but they are creating an experience. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I
Yeah.
don't know. Respond to that a little bit.
Well, I
Maybe your
think it's
thoughts.
tough, dude. I think it's really tough because I don't know what that feels like.
Mm,
I mean, I've created my whole life, like
mm-hmm,
everything I've ever done was just creating something. So I don't know how to empathize with somebody who might not be a creative type. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like it's hard for me to wrap my head around.
mm,
But like, does somebody else need that creative expression as much as I do?
mm.
because like it's in me so deep that it's like if I'm not, like, I'll get fidgety and I'll get antsy and I'll get, like when I was a kid, like, dude, ADD to the max, like coloring, doodling on my notebooks, like I'm having to get something out. Um, so I guess I just don't know, man. I don't think I have a good answer because I don't know what it feels like. I don't feel like I'm equipped to answer that because it's like
That's what you just do.
it's just what I do. Yeah, I don't know how it would feel to not want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
But
like a natural thing.
that's where people need to be though. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, let's kind of push it a little bit more. Like, if
Mhm.
you can't help but to like, I mean, I speak, right? I teach. So whenever we talk, I just spew like learning, right? I just
Yeah,
love learning.
dude.
But that's who I am. And I feel
Yeah.
like there's a part
See,
of
but I'm not
creativity.
that way, bro. Like I can't absorb like that. I talk to you all the time about that. Where I'm like, I don't know how in the world you digest as much as you do because I don't. I'm like, if it's not in like a 30-second clip, like your boy's not watching it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
He
like I
said,
just don't
forget it.
absorb it like that. I
Mhm.
so like on that side where you're like, bro, you gotta check this. Like you'll be so like watch this thing and it's like an hour long. I'm like, bro, you're insane. Like I'm not how in the world? Do you know how
Two
many
and a
times I
half
have to sit
speed.
on the toilet to finish this thing up? You know what I mean? Like, like
Is it 2.5 speed? I said, I
yeah. I mean,
got it.
even then,
But this is the
then,
thing too, though.
I'm just. Anyways, keep going.
No, you're good. But I feel like this too, man. Like, because of that experience, like I can't see. I I appreciate your gifting,
Mm,
namely
mm,
because I can't do it. Like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
it would take me forever,
mm-hmm.
and I feel like most people think like it has to look a certain way in order to do it that way. And that's not real, I don't think. And
Mm.
it's
Well, it's forced. Like
mhm,
that's. And I think, I mean, I've always struggled with this when I would have a job in corporate America, like feeling like I had to create for something I didn't create.
mhm,
So like,
mhm,
let's say I had a job in marketing, I had to create for a company
mhm.
that it was just a job. So, but it was really hard to like sit down and build that ad campaign for something that I didn't like. I don't want to say didn't care about, but like, you know what I mean? It was just a
Yeah.
job. But like if I was to sit down and do something for myself, it's like, dude, I'm locked in and I'm loaded for like,
Mhm,
10 hours
mhm.
straight or something. So, I don't know where that was going, but
Yeah,
here
I
we
mean,
are.
yeah. I think you're right though, man. Like, I think what makes it challenging, man, is being a person who um opens themselves up to being themselves.
Mm,
And I think sometimes what makes it so hard is that we're looking for templates to borrow from. Now, there's a great Picasso quote here that I'm gonna insert here. It says, "Good artists copy, but
mm.
great artists steal."
Oh, dude. Okay. Dang.
And it's such a
I've
bar,
never heard that. Yeah.
dude. It's incredible. So the premise is you can be good to copy because every copy is not going to be exact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time
Mm-hmm.
you think if you copy a piece of paper, is the resolution is going to get worse and worse if you keep copying the copy, right?
Oh,
But
that's
if
true.
I
Yeah.
steal the concept and make that concept my own with my own creativity and expression, it'll actually
Mm-hmm.
be its own thing. The Bible says this, there's nothing new under the sun.
Ecclesiastes, baby.
Yeah, that's your favorite book.
That's my favorite book.
Favorite book.
A little depressing, but yeah.
It's a slap back to reality.
It's
That's what it
real.
is.
Yeah, man. I like to live in the real.
But it's wisdom though, right? Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like, if we actually take the pressure off of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves with the
Mm-hmm.
fact that what's been new, what's been created is nothing new. How we express that thing may be new, but at the end of the day, having conversations is not a new thing. You and
I
I
think.
having a conversation, that's a new thing, right? Putting
Mhm.
on camera or on the internet, that's a new thing. But ideally, at the root of it, individuals having conversation isn't new. So anything creative in the world isn't necessarily new, right? Things
Mhm.
cycle, clothes cycle. Um,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to keep my graphic tees. So when the graphic tees come back,
I'm ready.
I'm
I'm
ready.
ready for it.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So
just gotta be the same size. That's the only thing.
facts. Fact. Listen, I don't want them
No,
either being
real
too
talk
tight.
though. Real talk. I think that's why people go crazy. I think that's why creative people go crazy is because they get to a point of realizing that they can't create anything that already hasn't been done. So
Ooh.
something up here misfires.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gets to the point where that's when people start cutting off their ears or doing all kinds of crazy stuff because they're like, I have to get something out that hasn't been out before, but I've
Mm-hmm.
ran out of things. So you know what I mean? I think that's a level of where certain levels of insanity come from.
That's a good. Okay.
he's like, bro, you're crazy.
But I, yes, but but that's the other part though. Like, shouldn't the pressure like be off from a creative? Like, just the concept of it. Like, you
Yeah,
are
sure,
new,
man.
but the
Sure.
thing itself is like music isn't new, right?
Right.
Your
Right.
expression of the music is new. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, until you're out of ideas of how to express anything new. So when you're like a
oh,
pioneer in a creative space, like I hate to old name drop, like Kanye, yay,
okay.
like the dude has ran out of things to create, so he's just
Mm,
self imploding. You know what I'm saying? Because at least he can create. A lot of what I believe creation is conflict. You know, like
mm,
we create with this idea of expressing something that is like we want the bounce back. So you
mm,
come up with crazy lyrics or you come up with crazy beats or you come up with crazy art forms or you come up with crazy expression. It's a way to get things out. So when you're not able to get things out anymore, like it all comes back in.
that's
Does that
good.
make sense?
That's good.
And then just starts doing one of these moves.
So
And when,
oh, that's good. That's good, Joe. So what is the block for people? Like, how do people get past that, or how can people see that they have a block?
mm,
And maybe the block that they have, they may not be aware of. So, like, you might be a creative that has been creating, can't create as much as you thought you would, or you have a hard time seeing yourself as a creative, so you don't
mm.
put anything creative out there. I feel like the blocks might be the same, but I want to explore that, man, because that
Well, I
I can
think
speak
it's,
on mine.
yeah, I just think it's, I wrestled with this for a long time myself, just
Mm-hmm.
understanding that I had creative abilities or I was, quote unquote, in that world of creative because probably similar to you, Ryan, like the people that I look up to and the people that I connect with and the people that I follow are extremely gifted
Mm-hmm.
at whatever they're creating, whether that's film, whether that's music, whether that's art, like art proper. I don't even know what you
Mm-hmm.
call it. What do you call it? What do you call like a painting? Like just art.
Paintings. I guess you call it art. I guess art.
Art. You
Art.
know what I mean though? Like
Yeah,
art is
yeah.
so yeah, whatever. I just know that there's a word for it. Anyways, that's beside the point. But the point I'm trying to get to is like I see like because I'm really blessed with just an insane network of really talented people. The bar is like here when it comes to creating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in a place of like wanting to express or something, I look at my own work and I'm like, it's right here. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm comparing myself to. Now, if I
Mm-hmm.
flip the script and if I look at what I was doing 10 years ago versus what I'm doing now, my
Mm-hmm.
own bar is like this. So I guess what I'm getting at is that expression as I continue to get it out more and more and more and more,
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
jumping on this show is stretching. I think it's all about stretching. I think it's finding your uncomfortable and stepping into that, so that way, like the next time you're uncomfortable, you're like, well, I already did that. I already did that. Next thing you know, you're on a stage and you're doing, crazy stuff. Like, no problem, because you've been to a point where you've been uncomfortable enough to where that's not all that uncomfortable. And I think that's true with creative expression, is when I've expressed. Now I'm to a point where, okay, well, it's not that big of a deal to, you know, do an art show, or it's not that big of a deal to, you know, do a stop motion movie or something. I don't know whatever your medium is, but I guess what I'm saying is, it's like stepping into the uncomfortable is always the first step in anything creation wise, like it's just, you have to step into the unknown.
Yeah. I think being the unknown, stepping into the unknown is, I would say it's less about us and how we are than it is about us being, how people are going to perceive and receive us when we do show up as ourselves.
Man, I think that's why it's so important. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that's just why it's so important to do it for you. Because I'll tell you, man, like I'll be like doing a podcast or creating something or whatever, and I'll be like, oh man, dude, I hope my wife doesn't see this. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, it's just, it's vulnerable, and like she's the one who knows the raw version of me, and she's like, well, who's this? Like, that's not who you are. It's like, well, it's an expression of who I am, like I'm not being fake. I'm just like, this is like a thing, and like then you start to second guess a little bit. Mind you, she's super supportive. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you get people that are closest to you who are like, man, I knew this guy when he was 13, and look at him out here trying to do something. You get in your headspace. And it's not even they said anything. It's like you're just portraying what they could say. Right. So it's your own insecurity bouncing off somebody that didn't even say anything. They probably don't even care. But because we're insecure beings, dude, you know what I mean? It's easy for us to just assume that somebody might think something of us. So then it's like, well, I don't want them to think of me at all. So then you stop doing anything.
And then you do something else. And I feel like we've sacrificed fulfillment because of that, right? And I can speak to the fact, just for me personally, my love for music. I have a musicology minor, right? And we've had so many conversations about the impact on music when it comes to culture, people, mood. It sets a whole thing, right? It's a whole vibe. And I essentially, in many cases, because it didn't fit a model, or I didn't find people that valued that particular gifting, I'm like, well, since there's nobody here, I'm gonna just go over there and produce value that way. But once what's up happening is you end up sacrificing that level of fulfillment because you're trying to appease other people. And I'm guilty of it. I've done it. Many of us do sacrifice what we desire for the affirmation of people. But this is the other thing I want to kind of talk about too. We're getting close to time. There's a point, man, that think about some of our artists. We'll use Jay-Z, for example. We'll use Jay-Z.
Dude, pause. I'm not joking. I've got an old car, and when I drive it, I put in my old CDs. And today, I got the Black album out, and I put it in. Anyways,
you know what?
Funny.
So no. Plug. This is how I know this is. We have these conversations in moments. We're like, really? I had at a random brushing my son's teeth today. Change clothes came in my head.
No, dude.
I was like, oh man. I was like, oh, I love that song. Change clothes, then go. Anyway, and I just thought about.
I promise you, no substitute, just me.
That's what I'm saying. Change clothes.
Never heard it. Yeah, dude, that's funny.
Anyway,
Don't
I can't help it.
Chapstick. I'm gonna put some chapstick on.
That's all right. You're good. Hey, it's only on camera. Sorry.
I don't care. You know I don't care.
I know you don't. But this is the part that I feel like is important, and I feel like this is something that God calls us to do. is that we may go in one vein, right? Like Jay-Z's done music, right? That's where he's
Mm-hmm.
started.
Mm-hmm.
However you feel about him, whatever you think about him, I feel like he's a good model for reflection. He used this one thing that actually cultivated opportunities in multiple places. He's in business, he has other influences, he has other things that, Live Nation with the whole, concert process and everything. And those kinds of things are big. So what I feel like, and you can express, share with me this, most people get stuck in one way, or they think they should be doing multiple things, right? I
Mm.
feel like as a creative, you may have other spaces and places that you feel also called to,
Mm-hmm.
but most people feel like I got to like dampen that down
Mm-hmm.
or kill it off and just focus on this one thing
Choose
first.
one, right?
I have to
Choose
choose
one.
one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that becomes a dichotomy. It becomes people going back and forth with themselves. Like, I still feel
Mm-hmm.
this kind of way about this, but I want to express myself. Let's talk to me about that. You have 3 things that you're working on, but they're all
Yeah.
authentically you. So
Mm-hmm.
help some people who are listening how to embrace all of them without feeling they need to compartmentalize what
Mm-hmm.
that looks like for themselves.
Well, real talk, I do struggle with that. That's a real thing, like it's an absolute real thing of this pull to do if you feel called to do these things, like being able to. But what I've learned that works best for me is that I have to find the one that can sustain my family first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that one will make more money than the other. I'm not saying any of that stuff, but there is one in particular that I'm like, okay, I can make money now and I can scale this thing now to the point where as it scales, I can then start to wean back and do the other things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Jay-Z's a great example. He started in music so he could fund his way into all these other ventures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you have to, the reality, we got to make money. We got to make money to survive. And the bigger your family and the older they get, the higher the
More
risk.
expensive.
Yeah, it's a
Facts.
woo, yeah. So I think it's so important for there to be a strategic plan in place
Mm-hmm.
to where you're like, okay, I'm gonna really focus. I'll just make up stuff. 70% of my energy on venture one because I know off the bat it has the most room for growth. And
Mm-hmm.
I can take care of my family and I can sustain them. And that might even be your day job. You might have a day job that you're like, all right, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go to work and I'm gonna put in my energy here so I can take care of my family. Then after I take care of my family with finances, then it's like, okay, let me start to scale this other one up. So eventually you can kind of get to a playing field where it's a little bit more even,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's on income or energy expression. But it's like, I think that's where a lot of creative folks that I've met have always struggled with was like, okay, I've got all these things I want to do and I'm going to try to do all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, but like most of them probably won't succeed when you do that because there's just no focus and it's scattered.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
think that's a good
so
point.
I think,
Focus and scattered. Those are good words.
yeah, I think it's we just have to be careful, man, because the reality, most of us want to create in these spaces because we want it to be how we earn money. Like we
Mm-hmm.
want it. A lot of times, it's not just expression. It's like, no, I want to do this for a career. I want to do this for a livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll take my uncle for example. My uncle was a phenomenal artist, painter, woodworker, all these things. Recently passed away, but he was like he was like the definition of like a starving artist. He held all of his pieces so closely that he would either give them to friends or hold on to them. So like
Mm-hmm.
he could have been extremely wealthy and successful had he had the vision, had the I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, like he chose his art over like what else was possible. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize it could be both. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
his
Mm-hmm.
expression was him rather than like his expression being a part of him. So
I
let's say he
see.
made a sculpture of a horse. I don't know, making stuff out. Like let's say he made a sculpture of a horse, he would give it to like a family member because he loved it so much and it was so close to him, rather than selling it for $4,000. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
because he wanted someone to like that was how he gifted. That's how he gave of himself. So we just have to be careful as creatives that if big if like he could have done that his whole life and it would have been great had he also then maybe had a day job or something, you know. So we just have to be careful. We have to just be careful that we don't let our expression kind of take hold of us and become who we are. You know what I mean? Um, that's I think where starving artists kind of came from was
Mm.
they became their art and you know.
You know how hard that is to that part of sometimes you can hoard your best. Ah, this is convicting. um, there's see, listen, the Holy Spirit be doing this thing. While we are talking about creativity, God's all in this. Um, sometimes what ends up happening is that God can. The Bible says this. It is. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's in Proverbs. I want to say it's 13 or 14. I'll have to reference it. But long story short, it says there's a curse to a man who withholds the thing that is needed in a time of trouble. But if you, and I'm paraphrasing this, but a blessing comes to those who sells his goods in the time of need. So essentially, what we forget is sometimes what we have is what actually other people need. And you could be holding on to it for your own reasons of insecurity than actually bringing somebody joy.
Well, it's scary, man. Because what if you never get it again, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's kind of it's a poverty mindset at the core, where it's like, man, if I give X Y Z, I might not get X Y Z back ever again, and I like X Y Z a lot. You know what I mean? And it's a good reminder.
God,
None of it is ours, anyways, man. You know, like
wow.
Sell the bag, bro. I'm just teasing.
I do need to sell some bags.
Link in the bio.
Link in the bio. Check out my eBay account, y'all. No, it's shoot, man. Good. You know, good. Joe, I will tell you, man. I know we're getting close.
Let's pause. No, let's pause real quick. I want to say another thing on that same bar, dude. It's like that's also time. Like time is all that we actually have, and a lot of times we hold on to it for selfish reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like our time is literally the only currency that will that's all that we actually have.
Yeah.
Money can come and go, people can come and go, but like us and our time is all that we have. So if we're hoarding our time for only specific things or specific people, I think we're just doing a big injustice. So sorry. Just had that thought.
No, God will deal with us on that too, right? I don't know where I got this. It's in my pocket.
What is that?
It's it's one of the little threads, like when you're crocheting and stuff. It's my daughter's. Cool. You know, Joe, I will say this. I know we're getting close to time. I appreciate your mind. You have been a person who has actually pushed me in many ways to be someone who I've always thought inside was in me, but I never gave myself the permission to do that. We've talked about, like, I've had the music, the athletics, the comic books, the anime, all the things that I drew. My daughter, listen, this is crazy. My wife didn't know. I think I told you this. She didn't know. I didn't tell you this? Okay. My wife didn't know I could draw until during the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't know.
You just got bored and you were sketching and she's like, what is that?
Well, I was sketching Calvin and Hobbes.
I'll be honest, I didn't know you could draw, so that's new
Oh,
to me.
well, hey, it's
Hey,
new to
well,
everybody. It's on wax now. But but I think what's crazy about it, man, is that, again, this speaks to what you were talking about. What we end up doing is we compartmentalize pieces of ourselves. And I'm guilty of it. And that's one of the things, man, I'm just grateful for you as a friend to be like, hey, man, I mean, this is something that you as an individual need to try out. You pushed me quite a bit to get out there, photography, podcasting, communicating. I appreciate your brotherhood, man, your friendship, because it helps me. It has helped me really embrace that part of myself. And the more I find myself embracing it, the more I start enjoying my life more. Because I'm not suffocating a part of me that's always been there, but felt like never had a place. So, thank you for that. And, thank you for your friendship in that.
Damn, dude. Yeah,
Nah, man, I'm just.
I know, dude. It's just like, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, bro. Man.
Wow.
Last little bit, man.
Yeah.
Tell people where they can find you again. We'll make sure the links are in the podcast, but tell people where they can find you. I will tell you, you will not, and you can go to my website, you can go to everything. You will not be disappointed working with Joseph Harrison. I guarantee you. Let them know. Appreciate that. Let the people know, homie.
No, I appreciate it, man. You can find all the links to all the things I'm doing. You can just go to josephcharrison.com. You can find it all there. Follow me on LinkedIn. Yeah, man. I'm just grateful that you consider me somebody worthy of talking to, man. I mean that. Like it's an honor to be your friend, dude. It really is. It's a joy and an honor. And I thank God at least twice a week that he brought me into your life and vice versa, man. Like I just feel like, whew. Yeah. He's good, man. He takes care of us and he puts people in our lives that we need, dude. And I'm just I'm grateful for a lot because of that, which that can be a whole nother podcast on gratitude because we got a lot of it.
Well, let's make another one.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Set it up. We'll see if this one's received well, and if it is, then we'll do it again.
We'll do another one anyway.
He said it.
Awesome.
He said it.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in, listening in to this incredible podcast of Shifts and Ladders. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.